What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode built by the Red Stick. Thank you all again for the listens, the subscribes. We need a couple more likes, man. Don't be afraid to smash that thumbs up button.
It's free.
It's free. It's free. It's a free way to show love to us. We are presented by Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center every week, man. We come to y'all, recovery, mental health, Baton Rouge, built different, strong, overcoming, whatever adjective you want to use to describe it. That is us.
Yes, Lord. Yeet.
What's going on, my guy?
We back. We in here.
In here.
So look, last episode, you did something so special. You had the little intro. I shed a little tear because it was my birthday right after it dropped. So now, your birthday was yesterday.
It was.
So
Big 3-5.
I don't even know how I could top that without getting vulnerable. You know what I mean? Because we talked about getting vulnerable, right? So here it goes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
It'll make me blush.
Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you. Oh.
It's the end for me.
Happy birthday, baby.
Thank you, brother.
Right down to
Thank
big
you.
3-5.
Big 3-5. The big
You can run
35.
for president now. That's all the qualifications you need in the United States.
Last episode, you talked about me running for president.
Hey, man, I'll vote. I'll go get my voter.
But we got to get your rights back.
I'll go get them back for you, baby. I'll fight for my rights, man. If you run for president, damn it, I'm at the poll. Because I know one thing. All health care going to be affordable, right?
You better tell her we're gonna have some healthcare reform.
Bro, I got to put a surround my insurance. Baby just ain't, she better not get sick.
Yeah.
What? Well, you know how much it is to add a baby to your insurance?
I have one on my insurance, yeah.
Yeah, but you're a business owner. I'm still an employee. You're an employer. It's different. We're in a whole different tax bracket.
Man, don't do that to me.
Don't better not get no sniffles. There's going to be some home remedies on this
You on your company's insurance?
Yes. But, you know, me and the baby, I don't think I announced this shit. I'm getting married.
You are getting married.
I'm getting married.
You are getting married.
November 23rd.
Yes, Lord.
And listen, I need to. I'm gonna look in the camera for this one. I need y'all to not get y'all feelings hurt if you don't get an invite. We have limited space. I'm kind of a big deal. No, I'm joking. But seriously, the place that we're using, we can't invite over 50 people.
You know, I get it, and I talk about this all the time, and it's gonna show my assholism. I just think that we've gotten too accustomed to not hurting people's feelings. He just don't like y'all that much.
Because all my people know I love them. But dude, between and you in the wedding,
yes,
you accepted the invitation.
I did. I'm blessed.
That.
No, I appreciate you thinking of me.
Man,
which I mean is crazy. With all that transpiring over the last week, man, with what we had scheduled to talk about, which is like us, right? The brotherhood that we share.
The dynamic duo.
The dynamic duo.
Pepper.
Woo!
Well, you can't be Jackie Chan. The Johnny and the Chris. The Johnny Chain.
But that, you know, and that, you know, that's a blessing to me to be able to be a part of that. I've seen y'all grow y'all's relationship, which is a cool thing to happen.
Fuck up. Go ahead and say it. I know you finna allude to it.
I ain't gonna say nothing, bro.
This way it was been supposed to happen.
It was been supposed to.
5 years.
It been, but hey, look, it happens when it happens because it's supposed to happen that way, man.
Right, tell her that. You heard?
It happened. Look, I love you, but it happens when it's supposed to happen because that's how it's supposed to happen.
Yes, Lord.
And my dude loves you.
I do.
He crazy about you. Oh, bro. No, congratulations on that. Speaking of like just things that are transpiring over the next couple of months, me and you on this platform got a little thing that we're going to be doing in partnership with Sidekicks. You know,
Hey, put it on them.
Yeah, because look, it's just a little tease.
Drum roll.
Just a little tease. So you know, me and Ronnie owns a company called Sidekicks. It's a shoe boutique, man. Like if I'm going to just try to describe it the best that I can from an outsider's perspective. New shoes drop, you know, monthly, sometimes weekly,
yeah.
you know, whatever it may be. And these new shoes, especially the new release Jordans and stuff like that, they're not always the easiest to get.
They're not.
And so Ronnie, with who he is, who we've talked about over the past couple of episodes, has cultivated and nurtured and manifested these relationships. Yeah, I'm gonna hype my dude up today. To where he can have exclusive access to those kicks.
Yes.
So basically what happens is you know that a shoe's being dropped. You don't want to go wait in line. You don't want to try to enter a raffle. You don't want to go on GOAT or one of these other second ones where you got to worry about A, are they fake, or B, overpaying. You call him up. You go on my boy Ronnie's Facebook or his Instagram. And he's gonna have the shoe. And he's gonna say, tap in now. You're gonna send him your pre-order, and he is going to make sure that you get your shoe that size the day the drop happens. Yeah.
And you have the option to get it before release.
You can get a little. You could
pay a little bit more,
but you could have something on feet before they even drop.
You're gonna have something on feet before they drop. And I got the best prices in the city.
Best prices in the city.
Yeah.
And so with that, we've decided to do a little giveaway, right? A little tease. So it's not today, it's not this month, and it's not going to be next month. But at some point in an October episode, we're not going to tell you which October episode it's going to be, but at some point in an October episode, we are going to make reference to this raffle. Now, when we make reference to this raffle, which means that you're going to have to listen through the whole episode. Because you don't know when we might drop it at the beginning. Yep. We might drop it at the middle.
Come on now.
We might drop it at the end.
Talk your shit.
We might even end the podcast, then come back and say, psych, drop it in. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna say a phrase or something. We haven't come with that phrase. We'll let y'all know what the phrase is. Like I said, this is just a little tease. We're gonna say something. When we say that will initiate the contest.
Yes.
Some of the things that you're going to have to do in order to qualify for that is you're going to have to be subscribed on YouTube.
Facts.
You're going to have to like the video on YouTube. You're going to have to comment the video on YouTube, and you're going to have to share the video to Facebook.
So just 4 things to get a free shoe?
A free pair of shoes.
Man, that's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Hey, Vicky been...
Yeah.
Vicky might
Vicky
one of them ones.
And she likes some shoes.
She like the shoes, too.
So,
she wear 5.5. I got you, my girl. I see you. I see you.
And dude, the crazy thing is, like, we have so many people that, like, just in the short period that we've been doing this have been showing so much mad love, bro.
We kind of like assumed it, but I didn't think it was gonna be like this.
And I want them all to know we appreciate it. Like, I mean, we see the shares, we see the likes, the views, the comments, everything, man, and we appreciate that more than anything. So that's a little teaser, just a little teaser about a little.
So we'll have more deets.
More deets coming soon. And so we're gonna do that. My guy's getting married in November.
November 23rd.
My birthday just passed, big 3-5. Your Virgo season's in full effect.
Full effect,
man.
Man, that Virgo power.
Which is, we've alluded to it before, but our relationship, right? And that's like what we wanted to talk about, like how we came together and created such a beautiful dynamic. And there's a lot of things that me and Ronnie have been through. A lot of things.
That we won't even share on this podcast. But,
yeah.
We bonded at the hip.
Yeah. And I mean, and look, some of them might come out. I don't know. But there is a bond that cannot be broken. There is a friendship that means the world to me. I always tell people, man, find you somebody who hypes you up like Ronnie does.
Man, but look, from day one. But that almost turned out bad. So I'm going to tell the story real quick, right?
Do it.
So when I came in treatment April 13, 2019. So I ended up at The Grove April 18th. 2019, 5 days in detox, come to The Grove. So I mean, I don't remember the exact date, but let's just say a week after the 18th when I'm finally feeling myself. So you getting ready to do education. the powerful education that you always do. And so the way it was set up is the guy sit in the back, the girl sit in the front. Well, they had like 2 or 3 rows that was empty. So Mike came in, nice, nice cut, button down, gray slacks, white shirt, brown shoes. I used to love that outfit. When he wore that outfit, you knew he was going to bring that fire that day.
Yes, indeed.
And so Mike was like, why these seats empty? And I said, because nobody's sitting in them, duh. One of the guys proceeded to slap me in the chest. That ain't the one to mess with right there, dog. Don't fuck with him. I'm telling you. I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. Who this dude is? Then I seen him kick somebody out for nothing, just for looking at him, like make him cry. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. So I was turned out bad.
Yeah,
I almost didn't get the chance to be doing that.
I was reckless back then, dude. I was an asshole, dude.
That's because you didn't have me in your life to show you love.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You needed that love.
Well, I mean, it also comes back. So, like, I always talk about like my friendships, right? Like my circle, and you probably can experience this, but like in the position that we've gotten, people call you and people are nice to you because they need something, right? And it's always been one of the most powerful things to me. You know, the people that have become closest to me in my life are the people that kept calling when they no longer needed me.
Yeah.
Right? And that was you know what I mean? Like, and we'll go into just story after story of how our relationship continued to grow and bond. But, you know, I remember doing those educations and you sitting in the front, being engaged, asking questions, hyping up. I was talking about it actually with somebody the other day, and because I was talking about our relationship, because we were talking about the podcast, and I was like, man, I remember the desperation of a dying man that Ronnie possessed when he came in, and every word that anyone said at that facility, he was hanging on to it
100%.
to try to get his new life, and that was powerful to me because I loved those clients, right? And look, I love them all, and I want them all to succeed, but like those that come in that like you can tell, you can tell, and they don't always, look, this recovery and the treatment industry is a shot, right? Like some people come in and they're desperate and don't end up making it, and some people or end up relapse. I'm not gonna say don't make it, but relapse.
A lot of them didn't make it. A lot of people in my class, graduating class.
Yeah, and then some people come in and they're just not really into it and stuff, but then finally get that spark later on, and that once again shows that like how little, like, that's why I understand that I have an impact on people's life. I understand that, but that's why I always get so like modest when they're like, man, you saved my life. Like when in reality, I'm just a vessel, right? Like I'm just a vessel of what you made a good reference. Like God knew he needed soldiers like me and you for this battle. And that's all I'm trying to be. Like all my job is to do is plant the seed, man. God waters it. God puts the sun for it to grow and everything. But watching you come in like that, that was that I knew you were going to be special.
Yes, Lord, you did. Cause you said it.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that right away, but I found out later down the road that you was been big on some
yes, indeed.
Lord.
And so I remember, when I was at the Grove, I was in charge of hiring the techs and everything, and tech position came open, and Ronnie was my guy.
Yeah. And I accepted. With full, and took a pay cut.
Yeah.
Took a big.
You were in the plants.
I was in
you
the
were in the plants
yes.
when you came, dude.
Yep. I was in the plants.
And then, I mean, we could share the stories about what happened, things that transpired. It's up to you on those that started creating the relationships,
Which one? Because we had so many. I'll tell you another one that stands out to me. And this, I mean, fast forward, we did the tech thing. Mike brought me on. I accepted wholeheartedly. He hyped me up then, but he didn't have to push too hard because I knew at that moment I wanted to be around that. You know what I mean? Like the feeling that I got when I was around that thing, like you couldn't put a price on it. And so fast forward from that, I started having problems at that same facility.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into details of that because, we're not here to bash.
No, not at all.
You was the first person to call me and offer me, you didn't even have nothing for me to do.
I didn't.
You literally paid me just to hype you up
Yeah.
and okay your ideas and go get you food.
No, I mean, look, we're not gonna sell you short, dude.
Well,
I mean, the early days of Elevate when you came on, there wasn't a lot, but there was things that needed to get done. There was branding and getting our name out there that you were instrumental in, man.
but you to me, you more so didn't want me to struggle.
I did.
And that stood out to
I
me.
didn't.
So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I had this.
So
I had this, but
look,
like,
so I didn't want you to what?
struggle.
All right, so remember that next time that little idea pops in your head that I fired you.
Oh, you set me up. That was the whole point of this episode, so you can take the power back. You turned it on you.
I'm out here playing chess while you playing checkers, baby.
You're not leaving. We can't use that.
You know,
Bruh.
but I mean, and dude, there's been like so much, we always say it when we get on these topics, like we could record for days talking about like the bond and the things that have contributed. Like I'm getting chills right now just thinking about like the things that me and you have been through in order to create this bond. Like it's far enough along, and so I hope you don't mind me sharing the story. But it was early days when you were teching and our techs drove.
Yep.
Right, and so Ronnie came to me and was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna either have to quit or I can't remember the whole scenario. You were either gonna get let go."
It was somewhere along the lines of that.
And he was like, "My license, I got a unpaid ticket or something."
Yeah, no, y'all. So, and I'm gonna let you finish.
No, you could tell it because I love the way you
So-
tell the story.
I'm in your sober living.
Right.
Right. I'm house lead at the time.
Right.
I get a call at like 11 a.m. and I'm not gonna. Should I say the person? That's not. That's irrelevant. So I get a call from the office manager, and she like, "Hey, baby, your license suspended." I said, "What? What you mean suspended?" She's like, "Yeah, insurance just notified us that your license suspended. So of course you got to be on the insurance to drive,
Right.
to be a tech." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I call the DMV, dude. I got lapsed insurance twice. So I owe these people $1,260. I'm making $10 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like 5 to 7 months sober. I don't have $1,260. So I call Mike, like, "Hey man, like I'm not gonna make my shift. This, that going on." Of course, you could tell he was kind of upset, because I'm that guy, so I was very dependable. So then Mike called me that afternoon. Mike tell me to come to his office. So I go to his office the next day. Man, Mike wrote me a check out of his personal money just so that I could work. Out your he didn't go into that company account, which I'm sure he had access to. He didn't go into the sober living money, which he was the owner. I know he had access to. He wrote me a check out of his personal account. Like so I think that right there. That was
yeah,
that was the skyrocket.
And I remember.
So then my parents was like, they were so compelled to like, "Oh my God, okay, so we'll do this." And then Mike was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this."
Yeah, and I remember like yesterday, you were sitting in my office and said, "Do not tell anybody I ever did this for you."
He didn't allow me to, but you didn't allow me to tell that story for so long, bro.
Dude,
and I never understood why, but now, because we talk about it in the previous episode, doing things not for clout, likes and like that, just doing stuff behind the scenes. So you've been operating like that.
And I like I've always said, like a big thing that I take pride in is like seeing the greatness in people and wanting to and look, it is not lost upon me how blessed I am.
Yeah.
Like I understand that people sometimes think I'm a grandiose, egocentric dude who just thinks his shit don't stink, dude. And that couldn't be further from the truth to the people that know me the most.
And they don't even need to know.
They don't.
They're
don't.
not privy to that.
So like I said, it's not lost on me how blessed I am to be in that position to foster that. But like, I love and I don't use that word lightly, right? I love watching people grow.
Yeah.
Like that, they're it's just powerful, man. And to see what when we talked about it last week, like to be able to recognize a small decision in the moment that to build a big picture, man. Look, elevates early days. If that small decision doesn't happen, who knows if you stay in the recovery industry,
Right.
right? And then I was fortunate enough to bring you on at Elevate,
Yeah.
and the early days of me and you marketing Elevate were huge to its pivotal success now. Like I have great people that do that now, right? Like do my marketing now, and I'm extremely grateful for them. Yes, I'm shouting him out so he can.
Say his name then.
So Hank does a
Oh!
Hank does a wonderful job helping me
He do.
and keeping us and carrying on that legacy. He is great.
He just have horrible football taste.
He does have
He a
horrible.
USC fan.
He does. Oh,
Horrible.
dude, and I had to listen to it after that.
I
Oh
feel
man,
sorry for you, bro.
dude, that's twice in a row. I've hired marketers that have liked a team that my LSU Tigers had to go up against, and we lost to them, and I had to hear it because you were a Florida State fan.
But I ain't push you up that bad though.
You ain't, but
I
you
ain't.
ain't.
I knew, but Hank
Ain't do it that bad. Look,
I-
I'll give him his credit. Because he knew. He knew.
I told Hank, and look, you can show him the text message. I'll tell Hank, hey, you better tread carefully. So he was like, well, I'm going to just call you and Brad. I was like, you better do that. You will want to.
You know, and so like those are some of the things that like have built this relationship, man. And like, I think another big thing that plays into it is like our cultural awareness.
Right.
Right? Like, man, I'll tell another story. Just because I have a feeling that we're just going to end up telling stories. I remember it like it was yesterday because not a lot of things get to me, but this broke me. I remember it, and like I didn't let it on, but it like to know that people have to operate with. They don't have to, but they've gotten to the point where they feel they have to.
Right.
We were in education and racial slurs were being said. It got wind to me that racial slurs were being said. And I was calling it out in education. This shit's not going to be acceptable. If I hear it, if I find out it's you and I didn't even hear it, you're gone. And I was like, man, how do y'all think this makes, you know, because some people were like, oh, it's just how I was raised. And I was like, it don't matter. And I said, how do y'all think? And I remember asking you something along these lines. I was like, Ronnie, how does it make you feel? And you said the most heartbreaking thing, man, I've just got to the point where I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, brother, you shouldn't be. That should never be
That's just
there.
That's South Louisiana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? South Louisiana. I mean, it hurt, but like, you know, that I think my people, and not to make it about race, we are resilient.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I get it. They have other, you know, people that's resilient as well. But we have built a callous around our emotions, which goes into when I tell you in the cultural, we don't talk about stuff, we push through it. You know what I mean? It's not as bad as this, or it could always be worse. But like, man, I can't tell you how many times I had to just put my head down and just keep the situation at that facility.
Yeah.
Was the reason why I had to leave. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? The racial discrimination. I mean, no, we shouldn't have to be accustomed to it, but I've gotten to the point to where it was the norm. And like you said, like when I told you that too, you was like, "What? Like, no, that's not. No, you're not gonna accept that.
No.
Like that's just what it is,
Yeah.
man. It's it was what 2020 or
Yeah.
2019 at the
Yeah.
time, so
It's
like it was the 50s,
no,
the 60s.
no, and I mean, look, I'm not once again naive to. It's still 2024, and I mean, what a week ago or who know? I can't remember the exact time, but week 1 of the NFL, you got the Tyreek Hill situation happening, where he's getting ripped out of car because egos are clashing. Yeah,
Me and my buddies, we was talking about that last week, and it was like he rolled the window down and rolled it back up.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
And he asked you not to bang on his window.
Yeah, like he didn't have to.
Like I'm not naive to know that if like that situation probably doesn't happen if I'm the one in the car.
Yeah.
Which isn't right.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
And look, I don't care what side people fall on, dude. Like right is right.
Yep.
Right? And like
and this ain't a bash the cops session.
No, it's
I
not.
love the cops.
Yeah.
I got cops that buy shoes from me.
It's not a bad there are bad apples.
Right.
Period. Mm-hmm. I don't care and it's not a bash white people. It's not a hype any there are not bad, but there are discriminatory people who whether they learned it or were brought up in it or just feel a hatred because of their own insecurities inside themselves that lash out in that manner, and it's just not cool.
Yep.
Like there ain't no roundabout way of saying it, right? It's not cool. And I think, you can put your input on it, but I think that's why we click so well is because, like, I think deep down inside we know that we have love for people.
Yep.
Like I might not show it the way you show it. You might not show it the way I show it, but we got love for people. Yep. All kinds of people going through anything and everything, yep. Right? Like at some point, sometimes you just got to be respectful.
Yep. And you relatable. See, that was the difference. So when I came to the Grove, I'm quit dropping the name. Sorry about that. When I came to that facility, that was my 6th inpatient facility, right? And so you were relatable. It was like you were humble enough to understand the problem, but you was also confident enough to be able to express that. So whenever people like tell you you saved their life, it's not like, oh, you was God and you had the power, but you were unselfish to do what you was doing because you didn't have to do education. And I learned that when I started working with you. You chose to do education because the people in that room were your people.
Yeah.
And you felt the responsibility and the obligation to be the voice for people like me. And so I took that. You know what I mean? And, of course, I put my own spin on it.
Absolutely.
And became the voice, the trenches, you know what I mean? Talking about this, talking about the suicides, talking about being a black man in recovery. Because I got sober when it wasn't popular. It wasn't popular for people and black people at that. I think when I got sober, it was only 2 black people in the whole Baton Rouge that was in recovery, dude. And I knew his name and his number. Like, you know what I mean? And so I took that and I ran with it. So I used to get mad all the time, bro. And it goes back to what you were saying, how like some people would just judge an entire race based off of a few incidents. I used to get so mad when people would call you racist because was the time when you told me if you tell anybody that I'm going to fire you, right? And I was like, I can't get fired. Like, I didn't even have the money for my license. And they was like, oh, he racist, he this, that. That's why he act like that. I'm like, you mother, if you only knew, I'm black, right? I'm black. And so you as a white man and my parents were the only people that was like willing to grab me out of that situation. But it's just, yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying that like that time was so powerful for growth because like I remember, man. I remember you coming to me with those things and being like, "Dude, people are. Let me tell them this. Let me." And I'd be like,
"Let me fight them for you, bro."
It's not a battle that
compel me out.
It's not a battle that I'm willing to face because, like I said, like the ones who know me best, they know, right?
It all makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said at the time, I didn't understand it, but I get now why you operate in that form of fashion because at the same time, you still have to protect yourself, right? And so I ain't gonna say if you have to portray this image, but if you got defense mechanisms, right?
Absolutely.
You human.
Absolutely.
And so if that's your thing to protect what you got that's pure, to not be taken advantage of or whatever misused or whatever the case may be, then you know what, do it. Because
Right.
I have my own defense mechanisms as well.
And I mean, I think that's like that's part of life, right?
Yeah.
Like we get to this point where, based off of previous life experiences, we become jaded to certain situations where
I love that word.
We developed defense mechanisms to protect ourselves. And, I always talk about the importance of balance in those things.
Yep.
Though. Like I can admit that the early days, because I've done a lot of growth over the last 4 or so years from when I left. And like,
Yes, you have.
I didn't have good balance in protecting myself, right? Like it was all about like, I want to help these people and I want to let them know that I'm here to help them, but I don't want them to get close enough to where they hurt me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like I've made a lot of strides in that area. I think there's still some work to be done, which is a huge thing that I like. We always talk about like our relationship and how like it's grown, and it's so cool to watch. Like, not necessarily that I was the teacher and you were the student, but like how like there was a lot of things that I impacted and taught you in life.
Mm-hmm.
And then now to be able to like learn from you, like I contribute like a gentler side of me to my relationship with you. Like, does that make sense?
Talk. Because I definitely noticed your emotional growth. That was one of the ones I wanted to go into. Keep going.
Yeah, because like I mean, you're a good human being.
I try to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you don't have flaws.
Right.
We all have flaws. But inherently, like, you're one of those humans that, like, I just see and I'm like, I aspire to be that gentle to people.
Yep.
At some point. Because I sometimes have an intolerance towards people, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not going to sit here and, like, try to sell something that I'm not. Like, I love it. No, like, sometimes people aggravate the shit out of me.
Dude, my parents and my immediate family, from cousins, aunties, sisters, they instilled love, care, and tolerance in me since a kid.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't something that I just adapted. Like, this was instilled in me. As not saying it wasn't with you, and it felt good for me to operate that way. That's why in addiction, like, I hated the person that I was.
Because that wasn't what you operated in.
Exactly. And the things that I did to people, the things that I said, like the hurt that I caused to many, many people, like, I think that contributed to the suicide. Like, I can't live with myself. Like, I don't even know who I've become.
It's not what you were raised.
It's definitely not what I was raised.
So, like, watching, we talked about you bidding that in your life work and seeing that joy and that life come back to you. Like, I think that's one of the reasons that that this relationship has like been fostered and the work you've done on it. Like, it's been a good yin and yang for us. And like, I think that's a big reason like why me and you got together and we're like, let's create this platform to like show people like, we are different.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not teams we rooting for.
Like, it's not even
different tax bracket.
I know you're way above me.
No. Not doing that one.
They can look at the camera and see that like we are two culturally different people
Yep.
who have fostered a relationship of love and just camaraderie. I can't say
Camaraderie.
camaraderie. I couldn't say that word.
I got you. I'm here for it.
And I think together we're unstoppable. Together we are.
It's like that Neo song. I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Mike, you make me better.
It's you, bro. It's you. It's you. Look, I got good things happening in my life right now. You know, get little butterflies
Hey,
entering.
to the wedding, man.
Hey.
See you at the wedding, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, Lord. And so like, I know, like, I mean, there's so many things that have built our relationship.
Yep.
So many things. Like,
dude, I had to make a hard, not going into it, but I made one of the hardest decisions.
that's what I was just thinking about.
Of my life.
That's what I was just thinking about.
Dude, I lost sleep. That was intense. I never thought that something like that, would be so hard. But now I understand why in like movies or TV shows, you'll see people contemplating back and forth. I'm like, just do it. But no, that had me conflicted.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to go into that. But, you know, the stuff that you was just talking about, you know, how hard I go for people, but I had to have a balance. And then you had to help bring me back to that balance because I went so hard helping other people that I forgot about myself and the self-love and the self-care. And then when those things wasn't happening, my self-worth started depleting. So I really had to find, like, that balance.
Which is, like, that is the epitome of me and you.
Right.
Like, you bring the patience and love and teach me that it's okay to not be a hard ass all the time. And I bring the firmness and the ability to, like, set boundaries and not make sure that your cup is full, and because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Like, I remember those times,
Yep.
right? Like, I remember the dark places that I'm not going to say not focusing on yourself, but like only pouring into other people and not pouring back into yourself. And then not pouring back into yourself, but the people, like, you got to a point where you wouldn't even let the people who loved you most pour back into you.
Yes. I struggled that with Kayla.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even allow her to love me correctly. Like, it was crazy. Bruh.
And
this stuff's so confusing, bro. Life is hard. And the drugs made it easy.
But I think one of the fun parts about life is when you meet people like our relationship, like the relationship I'm fostering currently, like your fiance, like, like when you find people like that like help support you and go through this journey with you. Like, that's the beauty of it, right? Like, I always tell people, like, one of the saddest things is people always looking at the destination and never enjoying the journey. And that's where the beauty is. Like, that's where the lessons are learned, like the failures. Like, I remember seeing this quote, and it said every successful man has experienced multiple failures. Like, people don't realize that.
I fell on my face so many times.
Even in a successful venture, there's been failures.
Yes.
Like, in Elevate, there has been failures that I have made in operating Elevate.
That's how I got fired. Go ahead. I got you.
You ain't got me.
Fostering.
You ain't got me. Remember, we already talked about, I wanted to see you succeed.
You set me up, bro.
I set him up. Okie doke.
Oh, you set me up, bro.
But like, going through that with, like, friends, significant others, like, that's the jam, dude. Like,
yep.
you know, like, I'm so glad that we get to do this together and bring it together. Like we initially we talked about it, right? Podcast initially launched 2 years ago,
Yep.
and we did 8 episodes, 3 of which you were on.
Yep.
And when we started talking about it again, there was no like, oh, I want to go do my podcast again. There was like, we need to do this podcast. Like, I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else, right? Like, it ain't no thanks for having me on. It's co-host, you know. It's built by the Red Stick, brought to you by Ronnie LaDuff and Michael
Yeah,
Oakley.
Mike Oakley.
Every
My ginger.
Friday.
That's my ginger.
Yes, Lord.
But and I'm gonna say this, and I the only person I've talked to this about is probably you, my parents, and Kayla. But I need the world and the listeners to know that everything is not perfect and it's okay to not be okay, right? So the reason why it's taken me a little over 5 years to get married is because I just now, within the year, allowed Kayla to love me. I've just now, after all the beautiful posts on Facebook, after all the words of comfort, I just now fully opened myself emotionally, right? And putting it all on the line. Man, I've been hurt so bad in the past by people, women, myself, mainly, that it was so hard for me to open up and be 100% vulnerable and give somebody all of my feelings. And I ain't gonna lie, watching you nurture foster the new relationship, it has helped me turn the page on bettering and being more vulnerable with my person. What?
I love you, bro.
Love you more. Of being vulnerable with my person, because I'm like, if he can do this, man, this girl cook for me. Man, listen, I don't even make my own coffee in the morning. I don't make peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Dude, she would help me pick out my clothes the night before it's time to go to work. Like, when I tell you I don't have to do nothing, I don't even cut the grass. I pay somebody to do it, right? She has made it to where I don't have to stress about nothing. She just want me to be great at life and be able to succeed. But all she been asking for is one thing, and that's to give her 100% of my heart.
Yeah.
And I've been selfishly not doing that for so long.
Which, dude, I saw, and I quote things all the time just because it's where I draw a lot of my inspiration from, man. And you talking about that, like, shows me, like, one of my favorite quotes about a relationship is, like, find a person that you never fight with, or not never fight with, but find the person that when tough times happen, you don't fight each other. It's not you versus them.
Yep.
It's y'all versus the problem.
Yep.
And, like, from an outside perspective looking in, like, that's what you got, bro.
Yes.
She down to fight the problem with you.
Me. She don't play by no Ronnie.
Yeah.
She don't play by her Ron
Yeah.
Stoppable. Let me tell
Ron
you,
Stoppable, baby.
That's my Kim Possible.
Yes,
That's
Lord.
been our little thing since the beginning. She don't play by no me. And that's the least I can do. You know what I mean? So it's bigger than just a wedding, having a, you know what I mean? That's why we're not worried about having this big extravagant wedding with, 200 or 300 people. We want to share that intimate moment with the intimate people in our lives. And so it's more so just her getting that lifelong commitment more than it is just a title. And I understand that now, because I used to always fight her on it and be like, bro, it's just a title. The marriage is not gonna change how much I love you or like all the sacrifices I'm making to make sure that we are financially stable and all that. But it's the commitment. It's the lifelong commitment. It's the covenant that she craved, right? And I was selfish to not give her that, because I'm like, the last one, it was just like, it didn't work. But then I was mature enough to realize that I probably played 60 to 70% of that. And
it's so crazy because, like, I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Like, been a rough go in the relationship category. For me, the last couple years, but we're turning a page and
Turning that page, baby.
and trying to do things different, and it's been fun. It's been enjoyable, and
I'm starting to believe you, bro. When you called me last week and told me what you said and what you've been doing,
hey,
what Imagine Dragon said? Make me a believer,
woo!
believer. Hey, I've been doing a lot of singing.
You have been, dude. Dude, another fire one, bro.
Another fire episode.
Another
fire episode, man. Look. You know what? I gotta lean up for this one. So, recently, we were struck with a hurricane. So
Absolutely.
our thoughts and our prayers go out to any and everybody affected, displaced, or whatever the case, may have been.
In all
during
areas.
Hurricane Francine,
In all areas.
in all areas. So our thoughts and prayers are with y'all. If anybody is in need of anything, you can reach out. You can reach out to us on Facebook, Built by the Red Stick. DM us or anything, and we'll do the best that we can to get any resources that may be needed. Try to help find placement and anything like that. So we definitely want to stay, prayed up. Hey, baby, boot strong. We here.
Built by the Red Stick,
Another
baby.
episode with my dog. Happy birthday again to the one and only Mike Oakley.
Woo.
As always, y'all tune in at the same time, the same place, with the same producer. Built by the Red Stick, led by courage, baby.
Built different.